Peace. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I am your foul player. Anyways, I wanted to make a video regarding the evening of boxing that just took place, namely the PBC pay-per-view that was thrown this past evening. I didn't get to watch the other card on the zone with Clarissa Shields and Chris Eubank because I was watching the Senior Bowl, which is the college last game of the college season. I gave that more precedent. But I did hear the results, but I'm not going to talk about that because I didn't watch it. But I did watch this pay-per-view match that happened this evening, and um, needless to say, I got to thank Al Heyman and the good people at PBC for blessing us with this riveting card. Keith Thurman headlining this card with Mario Barrios, followed by Leo Santa Cruz in a 10-round match. Two other matches that I don't know who were fighting in those fights because I was I was wiping down my bedroom with Lysol. So even though I paid for this $75 pay-per-view match, I missed two fights because I had to wipe down furniture. But I still want to thank the good people at PBC for blessing us with this fine lineup that we just had. Right on the heels of Black History Month popping off, they even had Keith Thurman reading this poem that was written in script from a printer or something. I mean, it was a poem written by somebody else, but it was like written in like this fancy cursive, just very confusing. And then at the end of it, like Keith Thurman read the poem and then autographed it. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like you're doing this on the heels of the beginning of Black History Month. That's fine, but you got one black dude on the card who doesn't even look black, who looked more Mexican than the guy that Leo Santa Cruz fought. But and the fact that they charged $75 for it, brutal. This might be the worst one. I mean, like as far as pay-per-views that don't merit being pay-per-view. I mean, like Tank Davis was kind of like there, but I mean this one probably tops it. But I'll get to that in a minute too. But the first matchup was with Leo Santa Cruz versus Keenan Carbajal. I mean, his calling card is the fact that he's Mexican dude that looks black. Outside of that, I never heard of that dude before this. He is related to Michael Carbajal. Who's a Hall of Fame boxer. I do know of him because he used to call himself Manita de Piedra, which is hands of stone in Spanish, small hands of stone in Spanish, because his favorite fighter was Duran. But having said all that, I mean, like that dude's Keenan Carbajal is a nobody. I mean, they were just basically during the broadcast of this fight going on about the fact that he's from Phoenix, and they even mentioned the fact that his dad, who was his trainer, I think his name was Danny Carbajal, was beefing with his brother, who is Hall of Fame boxer Michael Carbajal, and like Michael Carbajal, the boxer, put out a statement that he has no relation to Keenan Carbajal. I didn't know any of this. I did remember hearing a statement or something, and then it kind of like refreshed my memory when I heard it this evening. I was like, oh, that's the dude that they were talking about. But the boxer, Michael Carbajal, put out a statement, I think like a month ago, saying that he has nothing to do with this kid, Keenan Carbajal, like, even though it's his nephew, and that he wishes that he loses this fight against Leo Santa Cruz, and that he predicts that Leo Santa Cruz is going to knock him out. Well, you were wrong there, buddy. Even though Keenan Carbajal was the bigger guy, he's just not that dude. I mean, like you could kind of tell, but he did get hurt early on, like in the third round. I believe it was, he complained about his shoulder hurting when he was going back towards his corner. But he was like real exaggerated about his shoulder being hurt too. Like you're supposed to be like cagey and not let the other corner see like any like that you're going through distress, and then you go tell your corner. But this dude's like wrote point saying, "Oh, my arm" and all this stuff, like while he was right when the round ended, like as he was walking back to his corner. I don't think that Leo Santa Cruz corner necessarily picked up on that. I think a smart corner probably would have. But Leo Santa Cruz, he made it an exciting fight, but you know, is that a good thing when you have somebody who has an injured shoulder? I mean, who also said that he can't jab or he wishes that he could jab, like Keenan Carvajal, like stop jabbing, like or putting any mustard behind his jab after the third round. But Leo Santa Cruz, like I mean, wasn't taking advantage of that, like, and that's how he fights typically. I mean, like he's usually moving around or like not stepping on his shots, looking to move around rather than like stepping on the gas. I mean, honestly, like the best fighter that Leo Santa Cruz fought was Tank Davis, and like when he was stepping on the gas, he had some success against Tank Davis. These dudes were blowing that shit up during the broadcast too, making it seem like Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz was a close fight. It really wasn't, but nevertheless, I mean, like PBC's broadcast is trash. Everybody on it, trash, bro. Lennox, you leave. Run, Lennox, bro. These people don't deserve you. But I mean, but then again, like, I mean, where else is he gonna go? But God, man, I hate watching boxing nowadays, bro. Every broadcast is just as bad as the other one. Like every week they outdo each other in like terribleness. Like just a couple years ago, it was just like HBO was like the standard bearer of like bad broadcasting and OD going over the top to compliment guys that are within that channel's stable, but like now it's like every broadcast is like that. I mean, I dare to say like the Zone might have the best broadcast right now, like maybe, and that's not like saying anything. Like I could do a better job of that with the head injury. But let me keep going. Besides that, I mean, like tactically, I mean, I'm not gonna break down no tactical shit because I mean, it's the same like with as far as like what happened in this fight because it was I don't rate this fight. I mean, like I don't rate anybody that Leo Santa Cruz has fought in the past even, and let like besides Tank Davis, to which he lost. But I'm gonna rate him coming back for a 10 rounder, like from a long layoff, 16 months. Get out of here. But there was nothing about this fight. I mean, like, not only is it a 10-round fight before a pay-per-view that already sucks, but it's a guy coming off a layoff, and against the guy that I don't even know who he is. The first, like, but and in spite of the fact that I know who his uncle was, like, or whoever Michael Carvajal is to him, nothing to this fight. Like, I mean, Leo Santa Cruz had blonde hair, like he had the blonde highlight joints, like I Am Ill Will, with the blonde tips. But besides that, nothing really to this fight. And that whole style that Leo Santa Cruz fights in, like I said, like where it's not committing to any shots, gets boring. I mean, like, and then you have somebody in there that you don't know, that you heard her for the first time that evening, and then it's like, yeah, I probably should have kept cleaning the house, like, while that fight was on too. But right when I tuned in, like after I was done wiping my shit down, I just tuned in and they were walking that Keenan Carvajal guy into the ring. So that's probably why I'm covering only these two fights too. But as far as who Leo Santa Cruz is gonna fight next, who the hell knows? Not a lot of options for Leo Santa Cruz too. I mean, like, in spite of the fact that he's been OD protective, which I don't think people make enough of an issue of, Leo Santa Cruz has fought nobody in his career besides Tank Davis, to which he lost. But right now, I mean, like the options that are there for him to fight at PBC, I mean, like, are Gary Russell Jr. I mean, which would be a cool fight. I mean, you could probably make a case for that being pay per view than tonight's fight, even though that's not a good pay per view either. But you got Gary Russell Jr. I mean, like maybe like Leo gets the balls and fights him. Now that Gary Russell came off a loss, who knows? Try to get in there with him like next. Him coming off a loss, you coming off a kind of shitty performance. You know, see if you take on Gary Russell next. Maybe if you could finally get that bug off you. And there's a little bit of a storyline there, like with the fact that he played your father, and you know, you take 3 years to respond to him. Maybe get into the ring with him. Chris Colbert is Chris Colbert. Is he gonna fight? Or are they gonna feed Leo Santa Cruz to him? Term which I hate. I don't think so. And Chris Colbert rocks Leo Santa Cruz. But we're getting to this bad paradigm. I mean, like things that Chris Colbert, namely, are gonna face pretty soon. In that a lot of the people that are worth the shit at 130, at 126 are all on Top Rank. A bunch of them, you know. And it's not like I'm like, yeah, now you'll see what you're gonna get, guys. Now all that shit that you've done to PBC, like, you know, or Bud Crawford, now it's all gonna come back to you. That's how I'll get my revenge when Chris Colbert can't get a match with a top ranked guy. Showed you idiots. Like, no, I don't talk that way, bro. Like that's you Herbs. That's Herbs like I am ill will like that talk that way. Like, you know. And some of the lower brain morons that are around him. Not all of them, but some. But I don't talk that way. I mean, but like, you know, there are no options for Leo Santa Cruz like to fight. And frankly, I don't give a shit about Leo Santa Cruz, because I think once he steps up in competition, he's gonna get rocked if he fights the same way he's fighting now, which he will, because he's always fought that way. It's always been, you know, not committing to a shot. And you know, what's he gonna do against Colbert? Get out of here. Is he gonna fight now? Would he cross the street to go fight the winner of Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson? That'd be a fantastic match. Will he do that? Oh, you see, you can't make that happen. You can't make that happen because Leo Santa Cruz is on PBC and Shakur's top rank. We don't do business with Bob. They don't won't find the $2 million to make that fight. You can't do it. Yeah, sure they can't do it. If you think that if they will pay each guy like $3 million, they won't do that shit tomorrow. Yeah, right. But I mean, who knows with Leo Santa Cruz? I don't know what's PBC's grand plan to reserve this precious jewel, Leo Santa Cruz, who's been beat twice and out of the ring for 16 months in recent history. I don't know what's the end goal there? Like, where's the cash out for Leo Santa Cruz? Like, oh well, now we're gonna get our $20 million fight from Leo Santa Cruz. Yeah, don't bet on it. Don't hold your breath. But everybody else, I mean, like Tevin Farmer, I think he's a free agent, like or not committed to anybody, promotional wise. Mess around, then PBC will put that shit on pay per view. But I mean, will he fight Burchett? No. I mean, that'd be a cool fight, but it's not like Leo Santa Cruz winning this evening puts him right back into the fold. Like I'm not. But there's nobody else like for him to fight. But we'll see where that goes. I mean, like hopefully, you know, Leo Santa Cruz gets trashed by somebody of merit. And he's out of the boxing paradigm. Leo Santa Cruz is holding up shit. Like the whole welterweight division, and the guy I'm going to talk about next, in Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman coming off of a 900-day layoff. I mean, comes back and fights a guy in Mario Barrios. He did get the victory. He took him 12 rounds to get the victory, and it had to come through decision, which is unfortunate, because why the hell was this fight on pay-per-view against Mario Barrios? who's famous for looking like a guy from Apocalypto and coming up from 140 pounds, lost to Tank Davis at 140 pounds, got knocked out by Tank at 140 pounds. Keith Thurman comes off a 900-day layoff. Right before this fight was announced, I mean, Keith was saying all the right shit in that gym video where he was saying he wants all the belts. Seemed like he wanted to fight Bud Crawford. No talk to Bud Crawford no more. Somehow, Keith Thurman got pranked and got weighed in by the WBC as he was training for this fight. It was all a big surprise, but seemingly it seemed like Keith Thurman may fight Errol Spence next after Errol Spence fights or Dennis Ugas. I mean, it is what it is. It's crap boxing. But I'll get to that in a minute in my disenfranchisement. But Keith did look sharp in this fight, though, somewhat. I mean, in spite of the fact that it did take him to get the victory via decision, early on, Keith looked good in this fight. But the problem with Keith is that Keith fights like a bird sometimes, man. Like the 140 Keith was knocking out dudes like kind of like spur of the moment, like one shot kind of deal, like two shot kind of deal. Whereas now Keith will hurt you, and he did it many times, like especially early on to Mario Barrios. But now Keith hurts you and could win a couple rounds decisively, and he just won't step on the gas for shit, bro. Keith will have you hurt, and he won't follow that shit up for nothing. And at the latter portion of the fight, like he did with Danny Garcia, and didn't get the chance to do it so much with Sean Porter because Porter was smothering him, but Keith will put a lot of rounds in early and just kind of coast it the rest of the way. And it's a stupid tactic because he's getting hurt like that. I don't know if it's because he's used to knocking out dudes like that and starts to thinking like math in his head, like, you know, if I take too many risks, like I may not fight Manny Pacquiao or I may not fight like Errol Spence or who knows. Like he's just a weird character, man. The transformation of Keith Thurman from calling out Paulie Malignaggi, like, you know, which was, if you think about it, not the greatest of call out games. I mean, he wasn't doing no goon shit by calling out light hitting Paulie Malignaggi back in the day, saying you better not duck me, Thun. But you know, we gave him a lot of credit for what he was saying, but he's kind of gone back on everything he said. He said he didn't want to fight on pay-per-view, but now he's saying that the price of bubblegum has gone up, and thus you should pay for a tune-up fight for Keith Thurman coming off a 900-plus day layoff. But like I said, he did look good at times. You know, Keith Thurman does present the challenge at welterweight, in spite of what a lot of people say. Like when Keith Thurman moves around, which he does really well, Keith Thurman could hit you, and he does plant when he moves around and hit you. Keith Thurman, unlike Leo Santa Cruz, Keith Thurman does move really well side to side, and when he's circling, he stops, plants, moves really well, or he has the ability to circle, plant, and let off on you. It's just that he should stay there and let off some more. You know, maybe he's not a superior inside fighter, but you could get right back to the range that you like after you hurt somebody and continue to hurt him. It's like, what's so hard about that? But, you know, he's still an exciting fighter, but he got hurt a couple times by Barrios. And I didn't think that Barrios had a lot of mustard at 147. Nothing that's going to shock you. I mean, I was a little bit surprised that he was able to carry a little bit of a oomph into 147 from 140. But it's not like, oh, wow, like, you know. But, you know, Mario Barrios is tagging dudes. There were no times that I saw Keith Thurman get hit with anything substantial, but there were several times in this fight where I saw Keith Thurman hurt, and that worries me too, Because Keith Thurman, it's not like even that he's chinny, which he kind of is in a sense, but Keith Thurman gets hurt to the body, head, everywhere. It's just like he gets hurt with these freak shots almost. So it's something to consider. But I was disappointed too because um before this fight with the whole bubblegum thing that Keith Thurman was saying in that this fight was pay-per-view because the price of fights are going up nowadays. You would think that Keith Thurman would have decapitated Mario Barrios or at least gunned for that knockout. Shit. But to have this fight go into a decision, it's got to be a disappointment. And the bigger thing about this, as far as on a personal level, and it's not because I'm a Budman fan. Yo, you got all these Budman fans. These Budman fans don't know about business. Yo, all these dudes are beta males. All these Budman fans are beta males. No, it's not because I'm a Budman fan. But ultimately, I mean, you're already hearing some whispers that Keith Thurman and Errol Spence are going to fight next. Should Errol Spence prevail against Ugas? I mean, like, people are going to be surprised, like, or act surprised when they hear that news or that announcement. But they already hear the murmurings like everybody else does, like you, me, and everybody else. We're all hearing the murmurings that this fight was an eliminator. Oh, but you can't bypass an eliminator. They gotta fight. But that this fight was an eliminator between Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios. We already knew Keith Thurman was likely going to win, and he did win. So now, I'm pretty sure that Keith Thurman and Errol Spence are going to fight next. Though that fight does have a lot of intrigue at one time, it would have been cooler had it happened after Bud Crawford fight. But frankly, I'm already at peace with the fact that Bud Crawford and Errol Spence aren't going to fight. And I will continue to shit on the PBC because of that. No, I don't care how great Keith Thurman would have looked this evening. Would I have been excited for a Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence fight next? No. Regardless of how good Keith Thurman looked this evening, which he didn't look good at all, would I have been exciting for Keith Thurman to fight Bud Crawford next? Unless it was while Bud Crawford waits for the conclusion of Ugas and Errol Spence to then go into a fight with the winner of that fight after fighting Keith Thurman. But no, you get some double talk from Keith Thurman like a month ago or a little bit more saying that he wanted to fight Bud Crawford. Now all of a sudden he doesn't now all of a sudden a fight for the winner of Ugas and Errol Spence is top of his list. Errol Spence has shown a lot of opposition to fighting Keith Thurman in the past, going on half a decade, seemingly. Would I be surprised if now Errol Spence has a change of heart in the spirit of not fighting Bud Crawford and going to a fight with Keith Thurman? Absolutely. Now, I think hopefully that hurts the sales of Errol Spence versus Ordenis Ugas. Not so much for Ordenis Ugas. I actually like Ordenis Ugas. I think he looked like the guy who sings Return of the Mac when he was in the crowd this evening. But just to destroy the PBC, frankly. Fuck the PBC. Like, they're getting in the way of boxing getting to where it should be, or getting back to some logic with boxing. PBC is squeezing all the juice out of what's left, like by throwing a fight like this evening on pay-per-view. How dare they? People are out here struggling, getting fired from jobs now because of God knows what choice they have to make, and you're over here charging $75 for Mario Barrios versus Keith Thurman, sprinkled with a little bit of Leo Santa Cruz versus Mexican black guy, like, no thank you. So the fact that if a lot of my content seems to be centered at disparaging the PBC, I mean, it's kind of obvious. That's my intention. I can't stand them. I think they're getting in the way of it. I think at this stage in 2022, if you're shading some of your responses to be positive for PBC, or taking a stance where you don't want to criticize them, and that's negative in your eyes, or negative criticism in your eyes, no, we got to be out in the open, everybody, and trying to shut this shit down. PBC's whack. All boxing promotions are whack. I mean, like, if PBC gets shut down, and all these other promotions got to pick up these dudes at a bargain, so be it. I mean, like, it's not about these dudes getting paid at this stage. If they're giving us fights like this and charging us, something's wrong with this paradigm. Something's wrong with this sport. And these promoters all need to be checked. Primarily PBC. I mean, if we shot down Kathy Duva's promotion, how many waves is that going to create? We got to go after the big fish, and that's PBC. Hopefully the numbers of this fight did terribly. I probably would have made content leading up to it, saying not to buy this fight a lot more. I mean, not that I'm your coach or anything, but life's been too busy, and I mean, I'm not gonna get on the horn that much for it. But definitely I will do those kind of videos as we get closer to this bum ass Errol Spence fight against or Dennis Ugas, which is also on pay-per-view. That one, it's sort of, you could make a case in the sense of like the crap that's being thrown on pay-per-view as being decent, but if I know a lot of people are taking aim at that fight particularly, and it's a grassroots thing, which is fantastic. It's not because these dudes are racist, so they're gonna steal the fight from brother, because now technically Ugas is a brother, and and Errol Spence got family in Wakanda, and like, no, it has nothing to do with that. I mean, like, to hell with everybody. Like, there's no we don't see race on this side. We see assholes trying to overcharge us. I don't care if that dude looks like TD Jakes or some shit. Like, TD Jakes is a pulpit pimp, and he gets to be called out by people within the community for being a pulpit pimp, and he deserves that. But you can't criticize PBC for trying to play me, and put some of these fights on pay-per-view at every turn. Get lost. They ain't even hooking brothers up with pay-per-view. So what are we contending here? To hell with Al Heyman. Boule ass dudes, bro. But tell me what you guys think. What say you? What say you? But sorry I can't come on as often as I want to. I was gonna say something else. Who knows? Boxing's whack. Like, why am I gonna come on here to talk boxing? I'm gonna make more draft videos. Like, but boxing ain't popping like that, and that's why I don't come on sometimes. Cause I like talking live boxing stuff. Like, but do I want to come on here every night to talk boxing? I mean, like, what am I gonna talk about? My disenfranchisement with the sport? But I do want to do more draft videos. I love draft stuff. I love boxing too. But it's just nothing there. But let me know what you guys think. To hell with the PBC. Peace.